1,743 earthquakes. Unusual movement, global unrest, and more. Kick back folks, and relax. This is your weekend report. Hey folks. I hope you have had an awesome week. I want to thank you for tuning in for the earthquake report. For the record, today is October the 10th, 2016. This video will speak primarily of earthquake data spanning from October the 8th through October the 14th. It was on this day in 1999, when a magnitude 7.1 struck California. 4 people were slightly injured when an Amtrak train derailed near Ludlow. Slight damage was also experienced in surrounding locations like Amboy, Apple Valley, Baker, Barstow, and Victorville. This earthquake affected not only Californians but individuals in Laughlin, Nevada. It was felt at many localities in western Arizona as well. Before jumping into the review, I would like to set expectations around modifications being made to the earthquake report. Versus running through the numbers, we'll highlight the notable earthquakes registered and discuss current events as we go. Alright. Earthquake report time. Here we go. For the record, for the month of October thus far, we have registered 4,086 earthquakes. As mentioned, we finished last week off with 1,743 quakes. This again was a decrease when compared to the previous week. A 6% decrease in fact. Like the previous week, we failed to register an earthquake with a magnitude greater than a 5.8. For historical reference, the strongest earthquake experienced during this period of time a year ago was a 6.1 that struck the Pacific Antarctic Ridge. The 5.8 we just referenced struck our pals in Tobelo, Indonesia on Sunday, October the 9th at 2:46 p.m., at a depth of 79.5 miles that was felt locally and in surrounding areas. There were no significant injuries or damage reported. Swarm activity was experienced primarily along the Ring of Fire. The majority of our viewers are familiar with this major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean where a large number of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. However, for those unfamiliar with it, let's take a moment review. The Ring of Fire is a string of volcanoes and sites of seismic activity, or earthquakes, around the edges of the Pacific Ocean. Roughly 90% of all earthquakes occur along the Ring of Fire, and the ring is dotted with 75% of all active volcanoes on Earth. The Ring of Fire isn't quite a circular ring. It is shaped more like a 25,000-mile horseshoe. A string of 452 volcanoes stretches from the southern tip of South America, up along the coast of North America, across the Bering Strait, down through Japan, and into New Zealand. This past week alone, California experienced 747 earthquakes. This accounted for 43% of the tremblers registered worldwide. The strongest experienced was a 3.7 in Loma Linda and a 3.4 in Los Alamos. The 3.7 magnitude Loma Linda earthquake struck late Saturday afternoon and was originally recorded as a 2.8. Several people in Riverside, Loma Linda, Hemet, Chino Hills and Moreno Valley reported feeling the jolt. No injuries or damage have been reported. Alaska clocked in 426. This equates to roughly 24% of the earthquakes registered across the globe. The strongest experienced was a 4.3 at the Tanaga volcano on Wednesday the 12th. Tanaga is a 5,924-foot stratovolcano in the Aleutian Range of the state of Alaska. For the history buffs, there have been 3 known eruptions since 1763. The most recent was in 1914 and produced lava flows. For those interested, a stratovolcano is built up by many layers of hardened lava and volcanic ash. Unlike other volcanoes, stratovolcanoes are characterized by a steep profile and periodic explosive and effusive eruptions, although some have collapsed craters called calderas. 162 earthquakes, or 9% of those experienced across the globe last week, originated from Nevada. Interestingly enough, Nevada has active faults running through every part of the state. The area just east of the Sierras has the most activity. However, there is an active fault at the base of nearly every mountain range. With that being said, everyone in Nevada lives no more than several miles from an earthquake fault. Earthquake activity last week for the Silver State was in line with normal conditions. The strongest registered was a 1.7 in Boulder City. As mentioned earlier, we will break up the report to cover news that is meaningful to us. With that being said, before proceeding, I want to take a moment to present to you a video that I found to be incredibly powerful. In the past we battled with being politically neutral. However, there's too much at stake to not at least attempt to do our part to prevent corruption and the destruction of this great country.
My dear fellow Americans, we are all feeling tremendous anxiety with only a few weeks left to the election. This will be the most important election in American history. We were once a country of freedom, and now we're becoming a country of tyranny. We are witness to our own people burning down and looting our cities. Ferguson, Missouri, Milwaukee, Orlando, Florida, Baltimore. We are all witness to our own people killing our policemen. Islamic terrorists have killed thousands of people all over our country, and Hillary and Obama want to be politically correct and pretend all the killings are not happening. How many Americans are aware of George Soros, an evil man who turned hundreds of Jewish people over to the Nazis to be exterminated during World War II? He was interviewed on 60 Minutes and was asked, does he feel guilty for what he has done? And arrogantly he said, absolutely not. If I didn't do it, someone else would have. Soros is a billionaire who made most of his money manipulating currencies and almost bankrupting many countries. He supports hate groups who are responsible for taking down our cities. And he is a close friend of Hillary Clinton and a major supporter of her campaign. Robert De Niro is a millionaire, as are so many of our Hollywood stars who are voting for Hillary, and who have absolutely no tolerance for anyone of a different opinion, forgetting that that is what our country is founded on, freedom of choice. But they will not be affected by Hillary's open borders. Only our poor and middle class will suffer. Thousands of refugees will flood our nation, and no one will know the good guys from the bad guys. It will kill our economy, which is at an all-time low now under the years of Obama's presidency. And Hillary boasts of how proud she will be to continue Obama's legacy. No one can afford health insurance now. Prices for health care have gone through the roof thanks to Obamacare. Our once reasonable health care is gone. With Hillary as president, we will lose our Second Amendment with our right to bear arms. Freedom of religion will be attacked. And Hillary will try to stop all conservative voices on TV and radio. Our highest courts will become socialist, and she will restrict what America was founded on, our freedom to become a small business owner and pursue our own personal dreams. She has blood on her hands from the Benghazi terrorist raid. 4 of our American patriots died, and when the parents stood over their loved ones' coffins, she lied to them about the cause of their sons' deaths. The pendulum of freedom is not balanced. Hillary and her followers are on a crude campaign to stop and degrade all of Trump's followers. Her words were echoed loud and clear for all Americans to hear. Hillary said, Trump's followers are a basket of deplorables. They are unredeemable. May God protect the real truth. And may Donald Trump win this presidency. He will save our America, and he will certainly make it great again. Thank you.
I know that is not what some wish to hear or to see. At the end of the day, Every action must be taken to at least give this great country the chance to exceed once again, and this channel will be my contribution to this effort. Feel free to voice your opinions down below. Our friends in Oregon experienced a rather unsettling week. This did not come in the form of an earthquake, however. The Beaver State did experience a series of quakes that struck off the coast via the Cascadia subduction zone on Sunday the 9th. The unsettlement came in the form of tornadoes. 2 tornadoes in fact, touched down Friday, including one that damaged several city blocks in the coastal town of Manzanita. The Manzanita tornado hit at around 8:20 a.m. and had maximum winds between 125 to 130 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service in Portland. Oregon tornadoes aren't unheard of, but they're certainly rare. This is just the 3rd reported tornado-producing storm in Tillamook County's history, dating back to 1950, per National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration information. The county's most destructive was a 1975 tornado in the city of Tillamook that left behind $2.5 million in property damage. This was the 2nd costliest tornado in Oregon history. After the official assessment of Friday's storm, the county may be ground zero for another of Oregon's costliest tornadoes on record. That's incredibly interesting. Would you say events like this has been brought on by man-induced climate change? I would love to hear your opinion on this. Back to the Cascadian earthquakes. These came in the form of a powerful 4.8 and 2 4.1s. This trio of moderate earthquakes struck off the Oregon coast on Sunday morning of October the 9th and, though they were far enough offshore that they didn't cause any damage, the shakers are a reminder that the Cascadia subduction zone remains an active and dangerous area of seismic activity. According to the United States Geological Service, there is no elevated risk of a major earthquake after these 3 small tremblers hit off the coast of Oregon. Earthquake hotspots along the eastern limb of the Ring of Fire such as Japan, Indonesia, New Zealand, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Tonga, and Vanuatu experience seismic activity that fell within somewhat normal parameters, albeit quieter than what has been experienced over the past several months. Along the western limb, the same could be said of locations like Chile, Mexico, Guatemala, and Peru. Outside of the Ring of Fire, focus has been drawn to Greece, where a series of earthquakes have struck close to the country's border with Albania, late on Saturday. Damage has been reported but no casualties. There was some damage to the mountainous road network in the area due to falling rocks but no casualties, said a police official who spoke on condition of anonymity. The tremor was also felt on the Corfu Island in the Ionian Sea, a popular tourist destination, according to the semi-state Athens news agency. Greece and the surrounding region is often rattled by earthquakes, mostly at sea, which cause no serious damage. At this point in time, aftershocks continue to plague the region. Here in the States, we experienced slight movement along the North America craton with a 1.5 that hit Maine on October 14th, and a 1.2 Malone, New York on the 8th. Movement was recorded along the New Madrid as well, however, nothing out of the ordinary was reported. The strongest quake experienced was only a 1.8 in Lilburn on Monday the 10th. Before closing, allow me the opportunity to voice my opinion on the latest back and forth between 2 individuals that I highly respect. These 2 being Dutch Sins and Ben Davidson from the Suspicious Observers program. It seems as though both are in the habit of attacking each other's work and wish to take credit for being the first to report this or that. I have listened to the banter back and forth for far too long. Both provide a valuable service and each, in my opinion, are considerably different in the information they provide. Dutch Sins is focused primarily on earthquake forecasting and Ben speaks to space weather and news from around the globe. The only element either have achieved in this nonsense has been to alienate those who are not interested in the drama. When I hear of it during their videos, I normally move on to something else and abandon their review. My advice is to stick to the facts and provide us with news and information that we admire you for. And that's it for the earthquake report. If you experienced an earthquake today, or if you would simply like to chat, please post down below. I would like to hear from you. Feel free to post about anything that is on your mind. Make certain to like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, if you like the social media thing, you can link to us via the standard allotted social sites in the description. Stay safe.